we start off with people giving us great ideas to where we got to come up with everything. So our biggest challenge and our biggest hurdle wasn't Quincy per se. It was mainly us. Yeah. But Quincy has put a fight up against us too sometimes.
Yeah.
My daughter's on it.
Books. There are books.
Just think about it.
And pop-up books.
All of our black kids know the Pledge of Allegiance.
Come on.
But can't sing the Negro National Anthem. They don't know what Lift Every Voice is.
What's up, everybody? I'm James.
I'm Marcellus.
And welcome to another episode of Issa Kickback.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, this week we're kicking it with the founders of GayBo PDL. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, got it right that time. How we get started is, we got to set the vibe. We're really excited to have you guys and just discuss what you guys have done for this community over these last couple of years and just to learn more about you all and what you all do. But like I said, before we get started, we're going to set the vibe with our vibe check. And Marcellus is going to hold us down with that.
I got you. Just make it exist first. You can make it good later.
Now, with you guys starting those foundations, do you feel like you kind of, when he says that, do you guys feel like you started off like with everything in shape, or did you just kind of figure it out as you went?
Figured it out as we went. Wasn't easy, a lot of kickback, but we're not going to let nothing stop what we're doing for our youth.
Right on. A lot of trials and tribulations. What do you feel when you hear that, James?
The same boat. I started with nothing. Started with nothing, and now we have this, and it's just learning as you go, bumping your head, bumps in the road, and just being able to overcome and to continue, and kind of just believing in yourself and believing in what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest quality is belief. You never know till you find out.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
You always start with a dream.
Exactly. One Martin Luther King.
Any input?
Don't be shy.
I would say that we pretty much, I agree with Alan on that. We've had a lot of bumps in the road. We've had a lot of kickbacks, but we definitely haven't. It's been like, we have our moments where we get frustrated and things like that. But we don't allow that to stop us from what we're doing. Of course, in a perfect world, we would love to have no bumps and have a perfect experience with it. But it's not. We have to learn from what we're doing. So in order to dream, there's steps that you have to take. So we definitely are taking those steps, and we're all on board with the same things. We all bring different ideas and things like that. So it's definitely an experience, a wonderful one.
Right on. Amen to that.
All right, so we're here to kind of talk about the 3-on-3 basketball league and kind of what you all do for our community in this town, and just your experience being in Quincy. So first, let's get started with the 3-on-3. You guys have been doing it for a while, especially once Gus Macker left. You guys kind of stepped up to the plate. So, kind of tell us what led to like being like, okay, no one else going to do it. We're going to do it. What gave you that inspiration?
Basically, it wasn't the idea of nobody else is going to do it. It was just the idea of our youth not having something to do over the summer months, because there's a lot for them to get into that's not good for them. Mm-hmm. So we decided to bring something positive, not in place of, but to have the kids have something for the kids to do.
Right.
So
because they pretty much, if we're talking about 3-on-3 tournaments, when Gus Macker was here, Gus Macker is something that was nationwide. Gus Macker was all over.
Yeah.
We are starting small and we're going to grow. So don't get that confused, because we definitely are going to grow with that.
That's a fact. Amen.
We are doing the 3-on-3 tournament, like Alan had said as well, to give back to the community and to keep these kids involved. We don't want any kids slipping through the cracks, because we know with Quincy being a small community, it's easy for kids to get in trouble and do things that they're not supposed to do. And we don't want that to happen to our youth. We want to keep them involved and keep them engaged in different things and have something to look forward to. That's a time that they come together with their friends, hang out, even if they're not playing. They still come down there to watch other friends play, things like that. So
for sure. When starting this, what challenges did you guys face, like getting sponsors or anything like that to help out?
The first challenge we faced was within our own community. everybody's wants to help, but then when it's time to go to work, people disappear. We started off with probably about 8 of us, and it's down to 4 of us now. We start off with people giving us great ideas to where we got to come up with everything. So our biggest challenge and our biggest hurdle wasn't Quincy per se. It was mainly us. Yeah. But Quincy has put a fight up against us too sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just hard getting people to believe in your dream. Yeah. But that's not going to stop us.
A lot of all talk, no work type situation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I don't really know. Like, it's almost like you want to sit down and when you agree to talk to some of these sponsors and ask, like, what is the reason why won't help or assist us? Because, I mean, like we said, 4 years, that's a long time. We're not giving up on it. We're going to continue, and it's just going to continue to grow. Right now, it's currently at Berry Ann, but who's to say we're not going to go back to the Main Street area? But it's going to take time. You have to crawl before you walk. So we are big on that, and we are going to do just that. I mean, Alan, wouldn't you agree do you think that it's good for us to, talk to some sponsors on a side note and say, like, what is it? Like, do you guys have input, or what is your reasoning for not wanting to assist?
That's a great idea. We do need to sit down and break bread with a lot of them. I think a lot of it is that Berry Ann Park. The stigma that Berry Ann Park, has.
Yes, we do.
We ran into the problem when we was doing the basketball tournament in the projects. After a shooting that happened on the other side of town, and they came down to the projects and interviewed people, how does this affect y'all? That affected the whole tournament. Wow. Yeah. Because the rich people that we had coming down there, got scared and didn't want to bring their kids back down there. So I think being it's Berry Ann Park, it's why a lot of people, a lot of sponsors don't want to, but don't get me wrong, we do have some good sponsors. Yeah. We have QMG, we have Blessing Hospital, we have Sammy Johnson, which is American Hometown. Okay. We have
a Mexican restaurant.
Restaurant here in Quincy. We have the funeral home.
Hanson and Spear. Ron Snyder.
We have Ron Snyder.
Good shit.
Yeah. We're getting there. Like she said, our dream is to take it to a different level, even if it's to play at Berry Ann, play at Harrison Hills, and other areas like that. Then the championship, we take it somewhere inside or somewhere that we that a lot of people can come and enjoy it. Yeah, if we can make it a town rival, even if it's to get games against Hannibal, to get them to come down and participate. We want to do all that we can to keep this going.
And we're not trying to block the community out. We want the community's help. We are open to the community. Everybody that we have on board with us on the committee, and I'm sure Alan can agree with this too, we all are very open-minded. We are all open to each other's ideas. There's not one person that's trying to step on the other person's toes and things like that, because there's no I in team. So it's a team effort. With that being said, the community would be part of our team that we're trying to bring on board with us.
And the good thing about our team is we are open for criticism. Mm-hmm. We take corrective criticisms good. Yeah. We ain't trying to beat each other down. It's just that if she asks me what I think about it, and I don't think that we should do it this year, or this is like she came up with something today that we should implement with us, but we can't do it this year. We're going to try to do it next year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is after the outdoor season, have an indoor tournament.
Right on.
Which that's a good idea, but at the time we can't, because we got to concentrate on this.
Yeah, and get this one completed before we can start something else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And we do partner with other people. Just like GayBo PDL. PDL also does other things. Then we're also doing like the Juneteenth festival.
Yep, I saw
that. We're doing a 3-on-3 tournament there. Yeah, but reason why I wanted to do it there, because they have a lot of people that back them. And if they can see that we can run a tournament and run it right there, maybe we can get back down there using that as an avenue. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we got going on that a lot of people don't know about, but we're trying to bring it all together.
Yeah, and you don't want to take on too much at one time either.
No,
right, and it's
a
good thing that we're doing the Juneteenth and PDL / GayBo together in the parade this year.
Yeah,
that's going to be something that we're doing this year.
Yeah,
so I think that's a good thing.
There's a lot of organizations that are going to be that's going to be under this year. That's going to be under Juneteenth umbrella.
Yeah,
I think there's 4 or 5 different organizations that are going to be under that umbrella just to go through the parade. But next year we're going to go off on our own to go through the parade. Yeah, but it was just a good idea of Miss Jones to ask everybody, to come in.
Yeah.
So it's good to partner with different people.
Yeah.
And they can give us ideas. We can give ideas if they're open ideas. But, it's definitely a community thing. It takes all of us to come together.
For sure.
And we don't discriminate against who comes on along with us.
The only thing we discriminate against is ignorance.
Yes, absolutely.
We do not want that a part of our group. Mm-hmm. We don't want nobody getting out there and making our name bad.
Yeah.
So... Yes, we want to keep it positive, keep it moving, keep it blessed.
Can we get on that real quick? What he was just saying about the ignorance and things like that.
Yeah,
okay, so Alan, we probably should tell them about the no tolerance for the
no tolerance. For one, you cannot, absolutely not, drink or smoke weed in the park. For one,
respect. Yeah.
Everybody says weed is illegal. It's legal. It's legal. It's not legal on government or public facilities.
Yeah.
Okay. And the main reason why we don't want it is because there's kids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you can't abide by that, don't come out.
And that's the quickest way that you can get people not to support you by allowing things like that. Like, these are kids playing. We're not tolerating disrespect to the officials or anything like that.
Or nobody that's part of us.
Yep. You can't go to an indoor tournament. You can't go to a Blue Devil game or things like that and think that you're going to go down and cuss out an official or you want to fight or something like that. Yeah. No, you will be removed and you won't be able to participate, and you could cause the child to not be able to, and the team as a whole to be able to participate. Yep.
And it's just not a good look overall.
Not at all.
Not a good look.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Because you never know who's watching you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
they watching.
Yeah, for sure.
The police will have presence. I talked to the chief. We will have presence because we can't walk up to a grown person and say, you can't do that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Without an argument or a fight.
Yeah.
But the police can.
Exactly.
The park rangers can.
And they will.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we want them to.
Yep.
Exactly.
We're on board with them doing that because this is not about us. It's about the kids.
It's about the kids.
I mess with that. I love that. I really do.
Yeah, so
I think it's dope that you guys intermingled the Juneteenth as well. So I follow the pages, right? So when I first saw the Juneteenth doing, I was like, why would they do that when they got this one going on, promoting 2 at once? And I commented, and I got a snap answer. I was like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know,
but it's good to ask, though.
You never learn if you don't ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just commented. I was just like, hey, why would you guys do this? It seems like counterproductive to be promoting 2. Like, wouldn't this deter people from registering for 1? Because the other one's kind of cheaper.
The other one is just for a group of kids that we never reach to have fun. The 13, the 14, the 15-year-olds. That's a missing group, and a lot of things, a lot of things cut off at 14.
Yeah.
So that's a group we wanted to reach this time, and making it cheaper
with everything going on.
Absolutely,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, thank you.
Yeah, so that'll give them something to do instead of just standing around twiddling their fingers looking for some trouble to get into.
Yeah.
So that's why we came up with that one.
Yeah.
And to plug Andy Douglas. Andy Douglas is the one that put it together. The Andy and his dad are the ones that actually put it. We put it in motion. They putting it together.
Yep.
Jerry and Andy Douglas.
That's dope.
Jerry.
So Jerry Douglas is the father down, and Andy is the son.
Shout out to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Andy is the boys varsity, Blue Devil boys varsity.
Oh.
Coach. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
My fault, Andy. What's happening?
Yes.
So you guys originally started out as an all ages tournament, though, right?
We
tell us about that shift.
Yeah, like when made you guys go younger?
Well, go ahead.
So it's more so we had to, even though we're wanting everybody to be involved, is a lot of conflict and fights with adults.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's something that we don't need that.
right.
And again, it's about our youth. It's not about the adults, it's about the youth. If we can get 2 days worth, or this time it'll be 1 day, but eventually we'll be moving to 2 days for the youth, and we'll go away with having the adults play at all. Did you want to add something in there?
No, it's just that,
something?
like she said, the adults are a lot of problems, and plus, I don't want to pay out prizes of $1,500 and $250. To me, that's extreme.
They were cash prizes for the adults.
When you pay $200 to play in a Gus Macker and you get a medal.
Yeah. Hey.
You know, so that's where I felt about
Talk
it.
about it, yeah.
You know, so
and when money's involved, it's a very emotional thing.
Yeah.
So
Man.
they were out there. They were trying to scrap for that money.
They had
and
some
it's
good
not-
games. They had some good games. You know, we had some referees that controlled the games and everything, but we don't need that problem.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, don't need that problem.
And again, it's our whole goal is to get the youth involved and reach the youth. So
Reach a lot of out-risk youth.
Yep, absolutely.
And what was I going to say? Oh, the problem with the youth, only problem we have with the youth plan is the parents.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that you want your kid and them to win, but the moral of the whole story is have fun.
Have fun.
Absolutely.
Learn. You know, sportsmanship.
Mhm.
You know, it's not about winning and losing right now, because in order for you to be a good winner, you got to be a good loser.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Facts.
You know, so it's just, you know, something we want, something that has to be.
Yeah. I want to go deeper, but we're gonna stick.
Let's go
to-
deeper.
I just so
Go ahead, bro.
Let's
you know
go.
we're speaking on our community and a lot of things that impact, and like when we speak on that, do you feel like that stems from how we've just been treated? As far as like the people coming to play and participate, do you feel like the stigma of how we've been treated being in Quincy, does that flowed over to, and is that why people are so aggressive, competitive, et cetera, et cetera?
No. I think me growing up in Quincy taught me a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it taught me, for one, how to respect my elders.
Right.
It taught me, because back when I was growing up, we had parents.
Word.
You know, I'm
that's-
being honest.
No, that's a good way to put that.
That's dead
Absolutely.
ass.
Yeah.
That's dead ass.
Nowadays, you got kids that raise kids that are kids. You got 35-year-old grandmas.
Man.
You
Crazy
know, so
word.
I'm just saying, so there was a difference in how we was raised. Even though you called me out my name, you know, I was still taught to respect you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes,
You know,
ma'am.
it's still yes, sir, no, yes, ma'am, and all that. But blaming it on Quincy, no, because everything you do in life is a choice. It's your choice. So if you choose to get out here and act a fool, that's your choice. You got to suffer consequences.
Right.
You know, so blaming it on just being raised in Quincy, no, because, you know, Quincy taught you racism.
Yeah.
Quincy taught you how to deal with racism. Quincy taught you how to be a man. You know, there's a lot of variables in that. I just won't say it's just Quincy.
Okay.
No.
No, I wasn't looking for you to blame it specifically. Just the things that we do have to deal with.
I wanted to go back to, in the beginning, you were saying that there was a shooting and it came to...
Like shit like that.
Back in the day, there was a shooting out at where you live.
At Cedar Creek.
Cedar Creek.
Right.
Okay.
But
A guy got killed out there.
And then they went to
So they came down to Freddie Ball, and this was right when we was having our tournament.
Yeah.
Down there. They came down there asking questions, how does this affect y'all?
Yeah,
Don't
so
you-
it's-
that alone right there, don't you think that's kind of...
But that's media.
racial. To me, that's racial profiling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's media.
Media does that.
Just for instance, just like I said,
who owns media?
I'm a commissioner on the park board.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's-
we got a black president on the park board now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we got another black guy to come onto the park board, which is Cecil Weathers.
Yep.
So what Muddy
River.
Yeah.
River said,
Uh-huh.
oh, we have 3 black people on the board now.
Yeah.
So to me, if I would look at it as a black person, I'm saying, well, why are you saying there's 3 black people on the board?
What's wrong with that?
There's 8 white people. You didn't say there's 8 white people on the board.
Come on, get them together.
You know, so
Yeah.
this is what we deal with, but
But
that's
you
just
said,
ignorance of somebody else's ignorance.
yeah, Quincy taught us racism.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we continue like it's 2025.
Right.
We're halfway through the year.
Yes.
If we're getting ready to be in 2026, if we continue to allow racism to be the reason why we act the way that we do, then we're going to continue to have problems. It's going to continue to be a domino effect.
Right.
Yeah.
We got to start somewhere and stop somewhere. They started with it. And we're not going to go there with that because that's going to take us to a whole nother history lesson.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have to end it somewhere. And like he said, when you have younger babies raising babies, they have to have learned from somewhere. And that's white or black. It doesn't matter. Like, you have to start somewhere with being able to teach your kids. School teaches us history, but we all know that school is not supposed to teach us the history as far as
Our history.
It teaches
our history.
his story.
Yes, it's not teaching the real story. So these
Not at
kids,
all.
we can't blame them for learning or knowing what they know because that's what they're taught.
Yeah.
And that goes for at home too.
Word.
So
And you can see as far as all the way to the White House what they're doing with Black
on.
history.
Come on.
I'll tell
You
you.
know, so
yep. So it's all, we're going in 2026. It's going to be changing.
and every little thing that we do is going to help change some of it.
Yeah.
Whether even though you may
Because-
think of it as little old Quincy, but little old Quincy is on the map.
You hear?
And,
Come
and,
on.
and look at it though. We got a lot of white kids that play.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we almost have more white kids to come to play than we do our own kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Ain't that something?
and I want to shout out Teen Reach too, because this year they stepped up. They're donating money to pay for the refs. They're gonna contract them for us, and they're helping.
They're helping some teams as well.
Helping 5 teams.
We appreciate Dennis
Thank you,
Williams
Reach. That's
and
his wife.
and his
Cheryl.
wife Cheryl for that. We appreciate that.
Shout out to them. Word.
That's awesome.
You know, so as you see, we came from the first year basically paying for it out of our pockets
Yeah.
to now where we're getting people to realizing that this is a good thing. So let's try to keep it going.
We're here to
Spot
stay.
on,
Yeah.
And this is not something, let me make this clear as well. This is not something that we're trying to make money off of. We are trying to save the youth and stop allowing these kids to slide through the cracks.
And that's why we're becoming a non-for-profit
Nonprofit.
organization.
That is in the works currently.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how I'm running a 5-on-5. I ran it in Jacksonville successfully,
Right.
trying to bring it here, right?
Absolutely.
Isn't it so crazy that they don't ask the croc or the why there's no cash prize, but they always ask us why there's no cash prize. And it's
I
usually
wonder why.
so. When you said that, it was just like why you don't ever ask nobody else, and you'll go play in there. It's just fine, but so
are y'all running the 5-on-5 down at the Croc?
Barry Ann, hell no.
Oh, Barry
Yeah,
Ann?
Barry Ann.
Okay, that's right. You and
Cole,
Cole.
KJ, and my friend Devin Rogers.
Right.
Yep.
Cole's my nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cole.
Yep.
Yeah. He's been a big help.
And,
for
so,
us.
and I'd say that too. Cole has been a big help with us too.
Yeah.
He reffed some games. He played some games.
Yep.
You know, Cole's been a good help with us. Titus Johnson has been a good help.
Absolutely.
And let me forgive for that. Our board is me. I'm Alan Hickman.
Alexis Gay.
We have Mashika Gay and we have Tracy Trone.
Mm-hmm.
That's our board right now.
Word.
And again, we are open to more. Brooke Robinson.
Oh, and Brooke Robinson.
Brooke Robinson just joined us, and we are happy to have her. We are open to having more people on the board. Let me make this clear as well. We want people that are open-minded
Yeah.
Positive.
and very positive, because it's a journey that we're going on.
Yeah.
So, but you have to be willing to want to help, and you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
Yeah.
You got to be all in. We all have lives. We all are
Facts.
busy.
Yeah.
But
And I'm the elder of the group.
Word.
And I've been doing this for about 20-something years now.
Yeah.
Right.
involved in like the basketball
We
PDL.
PDL, the
Absolutely.
community.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm telling you.
Just to kind of sidewalk, what made you start doing that 20 years ago? Like, what was their
The
desire?
death of my sister.
Mm.
Gotcha.
She was a community activist. She was on many boards. She was a NCAA basketball coach at University of Beaumont, University of Texas at Beaumont.
Okay.
She was on the Olympic. She was coach of the Olympic, one of the Olympic tryout teams. She was a coach on that. She was the first black coach at QU, volleyball and basketball.
Let's go.
She graduated from the junior college at Hill Junior College in Hillsboro, Texas. Then she went on to the University of Arlington and graduated from there. Her first coaching job was one at Pacifica in California.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, so she had a lot of girls' lives. If you talk to my niece Stacy or Tracy or my daughter Ashley and them, they admired Penny.
She saved a lot of people.
She saved a lot of kids. Ask Kill Abby about her. How she took her time out of the day and drove him to Texas to to be in a semi-pro soccer team. You know, she's helped so many kids. You know, that's what turned my life around.
Yeah, it's just seeing it, right?
Just being a part of it.
Yeah.
Because that near to her end, I worked with her all the time, and that just told me, you know, it's time for you to step up.
Yeah.
Because in our community, if you look back, 95% of the mentors in our community was women.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, what can you name a mentor that you have coming up? A male in Quincy?
I can't.
A prominent figure.
See, one I can name is Mr. Bumry.
Plumley, yeah.
He's been there. Mr. Bumry.
Anders.
Well, see, Carrie's around my age. He's just a little bit older than I am.
I tried.
You know, but yeah, Carrie, but that's a good Eddie Fletcher.
Yes.
Eddie Fletcher, you know.
Anders was in school.
Yeah, he was in school. Not when I went, though.
For me.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I graduated before a lot of you. I was graduated in 77.
Word.
88.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, see. 2012.
Yeah.
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 Little
See, I remember him when he was both. I remember both of them when they was young, real young men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just before we move on, you spoke on community. Do you feel like that sense of community has been lost, and like how you guys are? I feel like you all are doing your part in a sense to kind of rebuild that. But
our community was lost when they allowed Blessing to buy it out.
Talk about it.
Come on, man. Come on.
Everything I grew up with,
When the daycare
only thing
closed.
that's left that I grew up with in that neighborhood is the basketball court and the projects. That's the only thing left.
yeah,
All the mom and pop stores are gone. The taverns are gone. The only churches. Oh, I forgot. First Baptist Church, Bethel AME, and
It's not the same.
And Lord willing, they're not taking the church.
yeah. And what's the other church on 10th and Chestnut?
Union Baptist.
Union Baptist Church.
Yeah.
It's the only
They have
thing left
came
in our
all the way
community.
down North 10th Street.
Yeah. Blessing owns everything from Blessing to Locust. They own a lot of stuff. The apartment building sitting out there on Locust, I think they own them now, or did own them.
Once the center,
Yeah. That's what I was going to
the
say.
Redmond Lee Center.
Once that
was it
closed.
Redmond Lee, right?
yeah.
Redmond Lee.
And once Redmond Lee closed, it started to go downhill.
Okay, we know it as Frederick Ball.
Yes.
Y'all know it as Redmond Lee.
They had basketball tournaments there.
Yes.
That's what I was talking about. That's what we used to have.
Yep.
I played in it.
Since then, and that was
I had about 6.
Redmond Lee's been gone for how long?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's about
I'm 30,
20
so-
it's been
No, I'm
about
30, so it's probably like 23.
20-something years, yeah.
So you guys brought up that you're now adding on to it with the 3v3 at the Juneteenth. What role do you play, and how important is Juneteenth to our community, especially?
Juneteenth is very important. It's a very awesome educational experience for not everybody knows what, about Juneteenth.
Right.
Yeah.
And like Alan had said before, without Caucasians, there wouldn't be Juneteenth.
Word.
Speak on it.
And a lot of people don't know, what Juneteenth is. It's not something that a lot of us, probably I would say 80% of us, did not grow up in a household where we're sitting down talking about Juneteenth.
Agreed.
I'm sorry, but we don't.
No, agreed.
I didn't.
So we are just as uneducated as the next person. So I think bringing awareness of what it is and how important it is to bring into the communities, I mean, it's a really good thing.
Yeah. I didn't learn about Juneteenth until I was in college.
Okay.
All right. So I worked at the convenience store. I had 3 jobs. I worked at the convenience store on campus.
Damn.
And yeah, shut up, Silas. You know this already. I can't.
Sorry.
But so, and the guys are talking about like, they're accused, so they're talking to each other about what they're doing for that holiday. I'm like, what is that? And they clown the fuck out of me, boy. I was just like, and then I had one guy pull me to the side, bro, like, don't take that shit to heart, bro. It's just where you grew up. And I was like, damn. So it was like that's one thing I've since then I'm part of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and so
awesome.
I've taken it upon myself, like it's really on me at this point, as an adult, to learn this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so learning that the March of Dimes and all that stuff, it was kind of like, wow, I was not aware, and
it's not your fault. A lot of us weren't.
Yeah,
I was in high school.
I just found out a couple years ago.
When we started the Juneteenth thing is when I really found out what Juneteenth meant.
Yeah.
In our schools in Quincy, Illinois, you're not taught Black history.
No.
The last time Black history was taught in our school was by Jerry Douglas.
That is absolutely correct.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Really?
Years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now they taking it out of all of our schools, Black history, trying to take it out of all the schools.
Yeah.
And,
They messed up when they took God out of school.
Yeah.
Facts.
And it just went downhill from there.
So it's important for our listeners. It's important for y'all to take it upon yourselves
And
to
teach the children
in the home, because it really does start at home. Like I know we treat teachers and schools like glorified babysitters, but like it all starts at home. They need us. Our kids need us.
Yep.
And so, but yeah, it just
and you can start it as young as toddler's age.
my daughter's on it.
Books.
Yeah.
There are
Just
books.
think about it.
And pop-up books.
All of our Black kids know the Pledge of Allegiance,
Come on.
but can't sing the Negro National Anthem. They don't know what Lift Every Voice is. The problem with me and the Pledge of Allegiance is the last part of it. Justice for all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just us, not justice. So
When like I said, I have a biracial child, and I had that conversation with her mother. I was like, if she doesn't want to say it, she doesn't have to say it in the school. I had a friend that she didn't say it, and they used to try to suspend her and kick her out of class.
They did that to me.
Yeah.
But and I'll give you another example. You said you have a biracial child, right? What on her birth certificate? What does it say? Color she is.
You know what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not gonna put biracial. They're not gonna put white. They're gonna put black.
Yeah. It says black online.
Oh, hers says white. They put
does?
white. Yeah, they put white.
Oh, because my brother had seven biracial kids, and on every one of theirs is black.
It's black.
My daughter is biracial, and she was born in Springfield, and hers says black.
Mine as well.
Yeah. Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was blue. I was blue. When I saw it, I was blue. I was like, I'm right here in the room. I'm in the room. You see me, I see you.
We look at each other.
Yeah, right?
But it's just
Yeah.
there's a whole lot of undercover racism that you just don't see unless
Undercover
you
to them. It's not undercover to us.
And I don't want to put. Nope, I gotta say it. I'm not holding back.
Speak your truth.
So after Trump was in office,
All right.
and I'm sure we would all agree on this, racism has come more. It's come out more and more.
To the
Yeah.
forefront, yeah.
They're bold.
Yes,
because they elected the Grand Wizard.
it is sad. It really is. It's sad because
And he hurting them more. Like,
yeah, because color doesn't define who you are. Or the person that you are.
Just think about it. The guy that they send over, that they arrested, said he's MR13 or whatever and all that.
Yeah.
And Trump said, "Oh, I can get him back, but I'm not." And then the courts told him that he has to come back here. Trump said, "I can't because he's in jail in another country." This never mind.
yeah,
I don't care.
Let's get back to the league.
But
Get on
Moving on.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the league.
but
do your
it's nice
research.
to know. It's nice to know because my friends aren't super they don't want to work, they want to go home, and they just want to be able to survive, and so many of us are stuck in that mindset of survival. When do we start to live? So but to just go back to it, I
We've
think
grown up knowing that.
yeah
That's all we know.
Yeah.
yeah And so, just to go back to, I think what you all are doing and establishing, because when I seen we were having the Juneteenth event, I was hype. I was like, yeah, they do that. And then when I went, I saw other alphas there, and it was like, okay, we're like, the community is here. Who do I need to speak with? You know.
Yep.
And yeah, so I'm very grateful you all came and took the time.
You know, it's a 3-day event.
This year is right.
It's always a 3 day.
Always.
It's
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday
right?
night.
The gala.
Is the gala.
Oh,
Saturday
okay.
is the festival. Sunday is the gospel choir.
And everybody get your tickets for the gala. I have missed it every year, but let me tell you, I'm not missing it this year.
They're $65 right now, and if you wait, they're gonna be $70 at their certain date.
And do you know what the color scheme is?
The color scheme is whatever you want to wear, but I think the color scheme for the gala is gonna be gold, white, and black, maybe.
Gold, white, and black.
Gold, white, and black. But that's just for the gala. You can wear what you want to wear.
And they always bring good people.
This year we got a woman named Shirley Youngblood coming from Chicago, Illinois. She's a blues singer.
Oh.
And then we have a jazz musician coming. I think she's from St. Louis.
Okay.
And that's going to be at the gala. And Saturday we got a band. I want to say it's out of Memphis, maybe.
Okay.
Or somewhere down there. It's a nice young group band, and they supposed to be pretty good.
That's awesome. So everything that you guys are hearing right now is going to be in the description of this video, so you can check it out. Go buy tickets.
Get your tickets.
And just find a way to support. And I think it's important because I'll put your Facebook pages and things like that so you guys can follow, get the notifications, and just get more in tune. And if you call yourself an ally, these are the conversations you need to hear and that we need you to act on.
Yes,
truly.
don't be faking in those comments either. I know who you are.
Yeah, pump faking.
And we want to get more kids involved. I don't care if it's Kirksville, Plainville, Mount Sterling, Pittsfield. I don't care where they come from. We accept all kids.
Yeah.
Not just our kids. We want all kids.
And if there is also, we need to touch on and let them know that if there is a team and they truly, because I realize we fall on hard times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you cannot afford, reach out and let somebody know. Because I can present that to probably any business here.
Yeah.
And they will be willing to support one of these kids.
Yeah.
Or the team.
Right.
So don't let that amount stop you. And that's the difference between us and the three on the Gus Macker. That's why we don't say that we're similar to them, because we're not. Because Gus Macker is not going to, they were profit. We are nonprofit.
Yeah.
So we are trying to truly help the youth, and we're not trying to turn any kid away because they can't afford it. Any child that wants to experience this should be able to do that.
And all three organizations that we mentioned are 50 going to be. I'm already 501c3 PDL. GABBO PDL is going to be 501c3, and first Juneteenth got their 501c3.
So
we all nonprofit.
So those are all nonprofit organizations.
They can't keep no money at the end of the year.
Okay.
They have to spend all grant money and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Word.
And another thing I want to touch on before we go anywhere else.
What's up?
I am raising money to redo the North End basketball court.
Yes, please tap in. Please tap in. Yes.
Tap into that. Help us. All the money goes to Beard's Tax Service. That's who handles all of the money. None of our board touches nothing. You know, this is something we've been trying to do for the last 3 years, is to rededicate the court to my baby sister.
Yeah.
And right now we got new backboards, new rims, benches. All we need now is get the money to resurface the court,
Right.
which came to about $25,000 to resurface it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get it resurfaced, it looked just as good as the pickleball courts.
Yep.
You know,
And that's what I mean. Growing up, I remember going down. I would get excited. I would get my little outfit on and go down there and watch and sit, just hang out with my friends and watch them play basketball, things like that. That's something that we're trying to bring back into the community. So please tap in with that. And no amount is too small.
No,
so if you got $5, tap in.
Like I said, I put a post out one day. If I can get $20 from 1,000 people, I'll reach my goal, you know.
There it is.
So, and believe me, there has been people that donate. James Bailey, Richard Hickman, Typhus Bias, Paige Cartmill, Samantha Audi Fund.
Yes.
There's been a few others that donated that helped out. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
and we're not giving up on that. So
No, that's
it's,
one
it's
thing
gonna
we're
get
not-
it's gonna get done.
See, because we rather have the tournament there,
already. Yep.
you know, and Berrien
Mhm.
and Harrison Hills.
Yep.
You know, we wanted to go all over Quincy
Yeah.
and play. You know, so please, everybody, tap in.
I guess just to focus on the league and stuff, have you guys, so you recognize the basketball community and how it really operates in this town. Are there any standout players that you've seen that have potential to be great so far, or any that you see that stand out among their peers?
I'll say,
You don't have to say names, just
Well, they want to say a name already. Yeah.
we can't say. Oh,
You
Let
can
me
if
just
you-
say there are a lot of athletes that are coming up.
Yeah.
yeah.
Both of my kids play ball, but not even just my kids, because that sounds kind of biased.
I was about to say.
But there are a lot. I have seen a lot of very, very talented athletes, and not all these kids want to play like, you know, organized ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Some kids just like the street ball, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because you can be picked up from there too. You
Word.
don't have to be playing, you know, an organized ball. Would you agree
I
with that?
agree, definitely.
We
We do have a lot of kids, black and white kids.
Yes.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, starting with Little Devils.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of young kids in there that's going to be good.
The Comets.
Yeah. Then you coming up to
Yeah.
the Comets. Yeah.
Let's talk
The
about
Comets. Let's talk about the Comets.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Which-
a lot of athletes out there
Are they
that
still
are
the Comets? Or are they Blue Devils too now?
I think they're Comets up until what is it, 8th grade?
8th grade.
And then
yeah.
9th grade they're considered high school, so they would be
Okay.
Blue Devils then.
But
But is
Or
is
do
the
they have
football
it
is the
slash?
football team Blue Devils though?
Yeah.
The football team is Blue Devils,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
but the basketball team is Comets.
Up until a certain age. Or a certain
Yeah.
grade.
Yeah.
hmm
Eighth grade.
But there's
ninth grade.
definitely it's scary, but
It's
it's
scary.
amazing.
I'll
how
tell you what.
many athletes there are coming up.
In
Awesome.
the next 5-6 years, we should be at state again, or almost trying to get to state.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we should be there.
It's a possibility we can get there again next year.
Yeah. So we were talking about like the talent in the community, and first I want to reiterate, like, it doesn't even, you know, you guys get to watch it develop, and a lot of players don't really get the chance, and when it comes to high school due to the selection and past that. So growing up, I think what you guys are doing and just preparing them for that is so dope. But I do want to talk about like the talent that you've seen in your leagues, and just some that you've seen mature as well into young men.
Yeah, there is a lot of talent in Quincy, Illinois right now. Blue Devils are going to be nice in the next few years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a long list that I
A
have in
long
my
list,
head.
yeah.
I can't even. I mean, I will be here forever. Me trying to list everybody.
Yeah.
Right,
Just know that there's a lot of talent coming up. Even if they do not choose to do organized ball, they're going to get looked at.
Yeah.
But one thing we have to get through our kids' head is school's first.
Mhm.
Grades are first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, basketball is a privilege.
Absolutely.
You know, so if you can't do your book work, if you can't do right in school, you ain't gonna get the opportunity to play because you're gonna be too busy on the bench.
And Quincy Public Schools gives too many options now.
Yeah.
I have looked into it just because I was curious, because I hear different people saying, oh, my kid stays at home and does this, which is fine, or they do it from home.
Mm-hmm.
There are too many options now to graduate. That No Child Left Behind is a true No Child Left Behind. They're not
Word.
leaving anybody behind.
Get the hell
There is
out.
options of, if you cannot be around a group of kids, like if you get anxiety or something like that from being
Mhm.
around a big group of people, they have small settings that they can teach you in,
Yeah.
where there's teachers and they're teaching you. If you can't be there and you'd rather be at home online, you can tap in from home.
Dang.
You can do like part-time there and yes, they have it.
I've had 3 kids to go through the alternative program because they couldn't be in a big group.
Mm-hmm.
And all 3 of my kids, Keisha made national honors. Devin and Ashley, I didn't think they was going to graduate, but when they got into the alternative program, they graduated because it was more of a one-on-one setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Everybody
so-
does not have the same learning curve,
Curve,
everybody
yeah.
learns different.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So, I mean, shout out to the Quincy Public School System with that, on having those options available.
Yep.
Them government funds. That'll
Uh-huh.
do it.
But then another thing too, they do.
Let me give you the mean?
Yeah, they do have what's that called? Expulsion. Their expulsion
Yeah.
rate for black kids are
It's way
much
higher than yeah.
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 We'll have to talk about that on another kickback.
Another
Yeah.
kickback, yeah.
Oh, we can do that. We
Yeah,
can do that.
definitely. Because just as young black men in this community, man, we kind of just it's time for us to do our part.
Absolutely.
You know what
I
I'm
agree.
saying? Right now, it's like the people I can connect with the most, I feel like, are the adults, in the sense of like, you know, let's see how we're living, and let's see what that trickle down effect, so we can like figure it out, you know.
And I see the problem with a lot of boys, young boys y'all's age right now is they want that fast money.
Yeah,
They want that fast money. They don't know the meaning of getting out, busting your ass, getting a job, getting up, doing that 9 to 5 or that 8 to 7, you know,
That
whatever.
fast money, let me tell you,
They
to get you
fast
that
money.
fast time
And
Yeah.
that's what it's going to
Quick.
get you. It's going to get you prison,
or
where you're
dead.
taken away from your family, and they're going to tell you when to piss shit and everything else, wash your ass.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you all that, or you're going to die.
yeah,
Yep.
and they think it's
You know.
cool.
And
Yeah.
they think that's a badge. I got a badge because I've been in prison. Then
Yeah.
when you go back again, now I'll tell you what badge you got then. You got a boyfriend. Because if you keep going back
Not
multiple
by
times,
choice.
why
Yeah.
are you going back?
Yeah. Somebody waiting for you.
My point exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be another kickback.
Yeah. You know, but we just got to educate.
Lord.
Just get these kids
I
educated.
caught that.
They
Yeah.
have to be educated.
And I think they need that black representation more than ever.
Yeah.
Right now, I think it's up to us to just play that part. I follow groups like Dope Dads, who is a black organization.
Yeah.
They do major walks with thousands of black fathers with their kids and stuff like that.
Oh
And it's
wow!
Or
I
what
didn't know
about
about that.
what about
Okay.
the Bully Kings? You ever follow them?
Like,
Is where if
Oh,
a
they
kid's
show it to
getting
the
bullied in
school.
school, these
the
black
dads
kids
go.
they go to the school
I have
Yeah.
seen that.
and
Yes.
praise that kid that's being bullied, and then confront the kids that are bullying them.
Yeah.
You know, I like that group.
That
But-
needs to be done. That needs to be a conversation that hopefully we can have at some point too, because that's just getting brushed under the rug in the Quincy public school systems.
Yeah. And
with the bullying.
And I think with the stereotype of fathers not being black fathers not being in the home, I've seen things like black fathers or black men in general just show up on the first day of school, you know, applauding the kids, saying have a good day, and you know, just hearing the founders of those movements and like the effect that it's left and what it does. I think that's great, because what Chris Turner is doing at that school is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
he's doing awesome.
Yes, it
Shout out
is.
to you, Chris.
Yeah.
You're doing really good, and
Yes,
whoever
he
else is
is.
on board with you.
And
with
I
that.
knew Chris for a long time.
Man.
I know his dad. You know, Chris has come a long way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Chris has come a real long ways, and he was determined he wasn't going to be a statistic.
Yeah. And that's
Determined. That's what I like about him. You know, he's a hustler. He knows what he's doing. He's doing good with these young kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, Teen Reach, they do an excellent job with a lot of these young kids too.
Yeah.
And eventually, I'm sure that we're all going to meet in the middle eventually. We just have to, you know, when you have different organizations, each organization has to do different things before
Yeah.
you can meet in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
But education, of course, is on the top of that. And everybody's touching on that.
And another thing these black organizations got to understand too is everybody can't be a chief.
Yep.
Yeah. A good leader knows when to follow.
Exactly. Exactly.
There it is.
And right now that's the problem we're having in our community is you're not going to do something, or you're not going to outdo me, or, you know, how'd you get the new car? Did you take the money and spend it? You know, stuff like that. It's just, we beating each other down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we need
Crash
to
the
start.
girl.
If you want to know how I got something, come to me and ask me, and I'll tell you how I got it.
Mhm.
If you want to know how I got there, come and ask me, and I'm going to tell you how I got there.
Yeah.
Because
That's-
we got goals and we got a business plan.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We have
Meeting minutes as well.
we have everything, but what's it called? Our
The 501c3.
no, our mission statement.
Yes.
Okay.
That's we live by the mission statements.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're gonna do something, first put God in front of it,
Mm.
and then work your mission statement and be positive. You're gonna have a lot of doors shut in your face. But if you go to 100 doors, one person's gonna help.
And that's all you need is one.
If you help one kid out of 100, that's all you need is that one.
Yeah.
You know you're doing your job.
Because he's going to go tell his friends. And
Yes.
their friends going to tell their friends.
Yeah.
It'll trickle down to the
And you know,
next.
this I have to do this because there's one church that I know of in town. If you go there on Wednesday nights to the youth jam, it's called Jam.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see over 50 to 75 kids there.
What church is that?
Grandview Church on 10th and Cedar.
They do an awesome job with those kids.
Yes. Like we do a Thanksgiving Day, not Thanksgiving Day, but a Thanksgiving dinner a week before Thanksgiving. We call it a community dinner. We do it at Grandview Church. We have a shoe and book bag drive that we do. One step at a time.
Yeah.
Donate your shoes. Stacy Trone. Get them to her.
Gently used shoes.
Yes, gently used book bags and everything. We do that too.
So it's all coming together.
I donated
There's a lot
some
of
last
things
year.
we do that reflects GayBo PDL.
Yeah.
You know, there's just more than basketball.
Yeah.
You know, if you need a mentor, we can get you one. If you need a tutor, we can get you one. You know, just come to us and talk to us. We're not out to hurt nobody. We just want to help.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into my next question of how do you see you all impacting the community in the next 3 to 5 years? I know you just hinted at it, but where would you like to be?
We talked about getting having a building,
Mm.
and we want that building to have different resources in it that are available.
Okay.
Because yes, Bella East has their building that has their resources, but we have so many at-risk youth that they can't do it alone.
Yeah.
Right.
We want to be able to have tutors for these kids, somebody to come in to teach the parents,
Yeah.
especially when you have babies raising babies.
That's the whole key to our kids of today is educating the parents.
Because we can't be mad at them.
No, because they don't know it.
They don't know no better.
You know, it's like when I was coming up, it was homework first, housework second, then you can go out. But if that ain't done, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Your room had to be clean. The dishes had to be, the trash had to be. It's all of that. That's all teachable.
Structure.
That's structure. Yeah, that's what you learn.
Now we
that's
have
what
the
you
internet
learn.
raising our kids.
You got the internet raising your kids. They don't know what washing dishes is. If you ask them what a rotary phone is, they look like you're crazy. You ask them what an LP is, they look at you like you're crazy because they don't research nothing. They don't do nothing.
Yeah.
But you ask them what Roblox and all that stuff is, they know all that.
Madden 25.
Madden 25. I got a grandson 25 years old and sits there all day playing the PlayStation. What
Does he stream? Does he at least make money?
What did we have to play with? If we're like cell phone.
You put him on the spot.
Back in the day, we didn't have cell phone. We had 2 cans with a string in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what I found the other day? The Jacks. You remember the Jacks?
Hey.
They don't make them metal no more.
They plastic now.
Plastic.
Or just like
It's rubber.
like the Slinky. It's plastic.
Yeah.
You know, it's just things have changed.
Yeah.
You know.
Some good, some
Now,
bad.
I mean, for instance, look at your cameras. You got nice camera, but the ones we had to carry like this.
We would have been turning around looking at each other.
Yeah. You know, it didn't have no button where you can make the camera flip around. You got to turn it. You know, it's just, times has changed. I know things have changed.
Yes.
You know, but kids still have to be educated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be educated.
So we had a conversation just the other day because we do meet every Sunday.
Okay.
We do a Zoom meeting.
We do Zoom meetings because we're all not in Manchica. It's not in Quincy.
She's in Indiana.
We do Zoom meetings and we talk about our goals. We have our meeting minutes and things like that. And that is one thing that stuck out when you asked that. I'm glad that you asked that question because we were talking about that. We're trying to reach these youth, tutoring, mentor, counseling, because we don't want to get on the subject about mental health.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you have parents that's mental health ain't good, it's trickling down to the kids.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's real. We got to stop sliding that stuff under the rug. It all has to do, that comes in with education and things like that. It's all a domino effect. We have to be able to be there for the youth, and there's a breakdown to it.
Yeah.
So it's more than just basketball. Do we love seeing these athletes? Of course.
Yeah.
But they have to have education.
Yeah.
The parents have to be taught.
Yeah.
Because they're going to continue to have kids at young ages because that's just what, I mean, they make that choice.
Yeah.
I got a question too. What sport do you not see our kids playing right now?
Baseball.
Thank you. Why?
Too expensive.
No.
Mm.
No resources.
Because they wasn't introduced to it.
Yeah.
When we was kids, we had the federation. We played baseball. You know, we played every sport that we could play. We didn't care about getting hurt. We didn't care about all that.
Do you think that stopped in the 2000s?
Yes, it did. I think the last good black baseball player that we had in Quincy he plays football for the Blue Devils. It's his mom was one of the twin girls. You know,
you're talking about Tykel Hammers.
Tykel Hammers.
And Cameron Flax also.
I don't know Cameron
Flax Hill.
Oh yeah, I do. Cameron Flax Hill.
And those were the only two really good, and they're graduating this year.
Yeah.
So who do we have to come up next?
None.
Yeah.
I haven't seen none. Within who's got Park District baseball? There's not no black kids playing.
I didn't know there was one, to be honest.
Huh?
I didn't know there was a baseball in the Park District.
Man, Park District got baseball, soccer.
Yeah, they
got everything. Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just got access to what's the name of that football soccer field out there? Paul Dennison Field.
Yeah, they brought that back.
We just got that all redone. You know, so
and it looks amazing. It's packed all the time.
There's a lot of sports here in town between the Park District and everybody that our kids can be playing. And at the Park District, I don't want to hear that, oh, we can't afford it, because the first year I was on the park board, we sit down and formulated a plan for the women, the parents that are one income and just fall above the
poverty
that falls, because a lot of it was for the grants was for people that below the poverty level. There was none for that one parent household that's just a little bit above it. So we came up with a plan for got me stumbling. We came up with a plan for them people. We came up with a grant for them.
Right.
Because I seen it needed in our community.
So I don't want to hear having open minds.
Yeah, I don't want to hear people say there's nothing for our kids to do. There's a plenty for these kids to do in this community.
And I think
you just got to access it.
Yeah, and I think it's up to us as parents to kind of put them in that position, whether they want to do it or not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, at least
and
try.
You gotta put your pride to the side, because nobody has it like that. We made it through COVID.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I don't know. Go ahead, Celis.
I was gonna say, I had my son in jiu-jitsu. That shit broke me. And he even won it. So you just
tell you what, I try to get one.
Is he still doing it?
No, he quit. He didn't like it.
I try to get
soccer started.
Yeah. I try to get my granddaughter in Cheryl Loesch. And they don't really give out no grants or nothing out there. And
Gymnastics Center does.
Oh yeah, but I wasn't paying that money out there.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna have to mortgage my house.
Yo,
hey, it be like
they wanted a $70 leotard. I looked at her like, she gonna grow out of this.
Can we go home and sew that?
Yeah, like.
Oh, there is another black organization that teaches our kids dancing. Sean Jones.
Yeah, he does. He's been doing it for a while.
Shout out to Sean, because he does a really good job.
He does a really good job, and he's also teaching boots on the ground.
Yeah,
dance.
I seen that. Yeah.
Where them flags at, or where them fans at? Yeah.
Yo.
So, but man, there's a lot of good black organizations, but we all need to come together. The churches, the PDLs, the GayBos, the Sean Jones, the Bella Eases, we all need to come together and get a plan that we can help each other, and then and help the kids. But it's just we can't be divided.
Yeah. I hear that.
I was getting ready to say something else, but I'm gonna leave that one to rest, because I'll leave that one to rest. Yeah.
Well, we'll wrap it up there, man. Thank you all so much for coming and kicking it with us. It was dope. I love the conversation.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
And God bless y'all for doing a good job.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Keep doing this, because people are getting places with this.
Yeah.
I watch it.
Yeah?
I got you on Snapchat.
Oh, no shit? Okay, that's dope. I'll just be on there talking to myself.
But I'm gonna say one thing.
You're talking to me because I'm looking.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna tell you, bring it out to the community.
We gonna talk. We definitely gonna talk.
I think that would be a really good idea, though, for the Juneteenth. Juneteenth brings a lot of people in.
Brings a lot of people.
And I was there. Was the one that started that. Started having the event. What Juneteenth was Hannibal. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Yeah, Hannibal's been doing it for years. Marsha what's Marsha's last name? Marsha. She used to be the beautician down there, do hair and pop.
Yeah, I can't think of her last name.
Marsha.
Williams, maybe?
No.
Nope. Whoops. Just
Marsha.
Marsha.
Well, anyway, Marsha
Yeah.
and Hannibal. She's been doing Juneteenth down, I think, over 25, maybe 30 years down there.
Wow.
So if you're in the hittable area, get over there wherever you can get, wherever you're close to.
And then I think they do a riverboat ride too. I think the theme this year might be cowgirls or cowboys.
They do. I heard good things about that as well.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
We saw a lot of people. I like that.
Yeah, and also Kilcook does a Juneteenth.
Yes, they do.
Even little bitty old Canton does a Juneteenth.
Wow.
So if you're in any of those areas,
please pull up.
Yeah, represent yourself.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, because
if
without
you're not
us,
educated, get educated.
Without us, there is no us.
Yeah.
Well,
and a lot of people don't know. So Juneteenth, if you guys don't mind, Juneteenth was the day in 1865 where the last slave owners were the last slaves were actually informed that they had been free in Galveston, Texas. Yeah. So for y'all that don't listen, because even like Marcella said, he wasn't aware of it. It's crazy how that just came about, and no one fucking knew. No one said anything. So for you listening, I just wanted to inform you guys of what Juneteenth is, and why it's important, because it is important.
Very. Well, with that
marking
being
the end of
said,
slavery in the United States.
Yeah, the official end, because they try to get us with that bullshit. And anyway,
but, another episode. All
right, but with that said, I'm James.
I'm Marcellus.
And this was a Kickback. Peace.
Peace.